I'm going to teach you how to take some photos of fireworks in a way that you probably never have before. I learned this totally by accident. And I have about 20 photos to show you my different techniques I use when I photograph fireworks. But before, I'm going to set you up with just the baseline that you need for taking photos of fireworks. In the description down below will be a link to my website where you can download this cheat sheet for free, no dollars. So let's jump right into the content. If you look over here on the left, these are the basic settings that you need for fireworks. So number one, you're going to have to be in manual focus. Now, the camera has a very difficult time focusing at nighttime, so you're not going to be able to use autofocus. So what I usually do is I put it on manual focus. I turn the ring all the way to infinity, and then I back it off about 1 millimeter, just a smidge. And that usually gives me intact, sharp photos. The next settings you can see, yes, manual mode on the camera. A lot of people are afraid of it, but you don't have much of a choice in this. You can do probably some automated modes on there, but you're not going to have near the control or the fun that you can have, especially with the techniques you're going to see here in a few minutes. So keep sticking with me for that. So let's look at the options here. I say shutter speed slow, anywhere from 1 second to however long you want. Typically my best fireworks photos are between 1 second and 5 to 10 seconds. For aperture, I like to set it to f8.0 up to f11, or anything above f8.0 is technically what I'm after. ISO, you're going to see I use 100 and 200. Bottom of the line, that really doesn't matter. Just keep it low. And the final note on there says tripod, maybe. Stick with me, you'll see why. So let's just jump right into my photos. I'll have on there the ISO, the shutter speed, and the f-stop I had. And let's check them out. All right, the first photo is of just a standard firework on a tripod, static, no movement whatsoever. Beautiful photo. I actually had a little bit of mist on my lens because it was very humid, so it gave it a nice soft feel to it. I like this photo. This one was taken from my drone, but as you can see, I still had a slow shutter speed. I believe this one was at 2 seconds, and the f-stop was 2.8. I don't have a choice on that. That's what the drone is standard setting for, and the ISO was at 100. And this is over our lake where I live, and they do fireworks, and they'll be doing them this July 4th too. This is another static photo, so the first three are all static photos, just on a tripod. Even though that one was on a drone, I still call that a tripod because it's a stationary shot. Now, one technique you can use, and I did it here, is have foreground in your photos. And that's real hard to do sometimes, especially in crowds. This one I found isolated. I was away from the people. No one was in the streets. Hardly anyone was moving around. And yeah, I got in the middle of the street, or actually at the edge, you can see, and took this photo. All right, let's look at this one. This one, now we're getting into the cool photos. I learned this technique purely by accident because I forgot my tripod one year. And I almost didn't take my camera out of my car. And then I realized, let's try something different. Let's intentionally move my camera around. And yeah, I thought I had discovered something. You can look it up. It's called intentional camera movement, ICM, real common. So this one is me just panning my camera. I just hold the shutter down and pan my camera. Let's look at the next one. Same thing. This is another panning, handheld, no tripod, and just moving it like that. And you can see the shutter speed, the f-stops, and whatnot down below. This one here, I had it on a tripod. It may not have been, but I'm pretty sure this one was. This one I took quite a few years ago. But after I had learned that intentional camera movement by accident, I thought, well, what if I had intentional camera movement on a tripod? So now instead of being a little bit of, maybe a little shaky when you move, I am actually on a tripod, and I can move the arm back and forth or up and down, as you'll see on another photo, and you can get some really cool shots. This one, this is one of those ones when I think this is one of my first ones I did with intentional camera movement. All right, off of the intentional camera movement from side to side, now we're getting really erratic, and I'm just really drawing small circles. You can do big ones, but you realize the big ones is going to be really far out there. So this is just a little tiny movement, just like I'm moving here. That's about all I'm moving the camera for that. Be creative. I'm not displaying it here because it wasn't as good as I'd liked, but I started drawing question marks just in my head. I was drawing hearts. Okay, all kinds of shapes. And I had a lot of fun doing that. So this is still intentional camera movement. This one just almost looks like a scattered painting. Looks like artwork to me with the way it's just, I was doing a little bit bigger circle on this one. So it's just a matter of playing and seeing what works. Hey, this was one of my favorites. I call it my dandelion because it kind of looks like a dandelion and all the white things are flying all over the place with it. You can really get some creative looks on some of these photos. This one almost looks like a moon with a reflection. This one I'm just jittering it real fast like that and making it appear like that. And this one, how long did I have? I'll talk about this one. 4 seconds. So that was a nice blast, and I had it for 4 seconds, and it was a bright firework. Each firework is going to give you a different look. So that's the beauty of this. All right, we're still doing intentional camera movement. Again, this one is on my tripod moving left or right. I kind of like this one. I wish there was more in this one, but that's what it is. This one looks like the wind blew it. And I kind of like this one. This one was a shorter shutter speed. It looks like about 4 seconds. And I was probably moving it very, very slowly. So in addition to just moving it left and right, move it at different speeds left and right. And that will give you different looks. This is another one of my favorites. I got a lot of favorites. This one's really cool. This one you can do. You can actually plan this one. If you're listening to the fireworks, you hear when they launch up. When they launch up, as soon as you hear that launch, you push the button and you'll get that white stream that goes straight up. And then when it explodes, then you moved. And that'll give you that look. And I actually did this one by accident, but that's about the only way I can imagine that worked. This one is also camera movement, moving up and down on the tripod. And you can do it with the tripod or without the tripod. Okay, this is another method that I started playing with. And if you've got a zoom lens, you can zoom it in and out. When the firework explodes, move the lens in or out with the zoom. Start zoomed all the way out and zoom it back in. Then start with it zoomed in and zoom it back out. You can even add different movements with it. But I'll tell you up front, this was the hardest one for me to get any photos that I even cared about. So I only got a handful of these. This is one of my favorite zoom ones. This one, I believe I had it always zoomed out. So the smallest focal length, and then I zoomed it in to pull it in real fast. Maybe wrong, but play with that. Okay, this one is just to show you an example, just to wrap things up here a little bit. Remember, I'll have down below a link to my settings that I like to use. Also hit the like and subscribe for me. That also helps me out. But I put these at the end just to give you another tip that you might want to pay attention to. If you got a long zoom lens, a 500 millimeter, 600 millimeter, that's probably not going to work at that focal length, because you're going to have to pick out in the sky where it's going to explode, and you won't be able to put it in the right place. So shoot really wide, wide as you can. And then once they start going off a little bit, then you can start honing it in a little bit, because you got an idea where most of them will be. But when it first starts out, shoot really wide. Because at the end of the day, you're going to want some really wide shots, and you're going to want some not so wide shots. So at the beginning, start with the wide shots. So this is another one, just showing you. I zoomed in too far and missed half the firework. I kind of like it though. I do like it, but it was just a little bit too far out. So that wraps us right back around to the beginning. Like I said, down below, you'll see in the settings, I do have probably 6 or 7 different videos on this. They're one of my first videos. They're pretty cheesy. I'll be blunt with you. They're not the best, but I walk you through each of these in a lot more details. Check them out. They're on my channel. Just search for them. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. This is Doug Gabbard, practicing photography, getting better one photo at a time. Good luck with your fireworks photography.